Hello?
Hello, Cade. Sean Reitmeyer, GCExperts.
Hey, what's up, John?
Not a whole lot. How can I help you?
Oh, well, I'm just curious about the program. I'm a former general contractor, actually, a kind of a specialized finished carpenter stair builder. And I ran a business for quite a while and then got out of it, went into another trade, consulting. And, anyways, I'm kind of thinking back into construction again. And so this is where I kind of want to talk to you about this because I wanted to get into something more along the lines of federal contracting and getting like a level 1 clearance. Maybe I could work on base type stuff. I'm just wondering if this is in your wheelhouse, and of course, kind of understanding where I'm coming from. I'm kind of building myself up from the ground again, starting over. So is this something that could work for me?
Well, I mean, you're talking to a guy who's done, along with my dad, over $1 billion worth of work for the federal government. There's nothing special about me or him. For 15 years, we've been teaching contractors. Anybody, when I say contractor, I use that term loosely. Anybody loosely associated with the construction industry. And the
Uh-huh.
reason that I say that is because contractors use a specific vocabulary. There's a language to being a contractor. Um, just in the word finish carpentry as opposed to carpentry, which might include framing, right?
Yeah.
Um, so, in the vocabulary of the trades matters. You talk to a plumber, he wants to know, is it PVC pipe, copper pipe, black pipe? Is it Schedule 40, Schedule 80? You speak to a concrete guy, he wants to know, is it 5,000 psi or 4,000 psi? How many cubic yards is it? And, there's a vocabulary to it. And so that's what I mean. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can go out and get federal contracts. I mean, the federal government's spending $1 billion every single business day, or at least they're trying to.
Wow.
Um,
Okay.
so, I've got some like I always tell people that you only need to make two decisions when you have a conversation with me. No,
Mm-hmm.
number one, you got to decide, is this guy full of shit or not? Is he just trying to sell me something? Because if you decide that, then there's just no reason to go to step two. You know,
Okay.
but if you can get past that, personality types are different. I'm not a coddle type guy. It's okay, Cade. You'll get I'm not that guy. I'm the guy who goes, hey, you got to do this, this, and this, and if you do these three things exactly the way I'm that guy. And so don't be scared of the quote 800-pound gorilla in federal contracting or that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about the stuff that you don't know. I mean, you sound like a young guy. You can learn anything. There is no magic in this business. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just a function of learning the processes, procedures, how to turn in a technical proposal, how to fill out the paperwork correctly, how to make the phone calls, use my scripts. Hey, my name's Sean. I'm a national federal contractor. I do everything from wind tunnels, water treatment plants to kitchen renovations. Calling you today about this, well, let's just say finished carpentry job. And what I like to do is send you over the plans and specifications when you get a chance. It's just a matter of learning how to talk like I talk.
Uh-huh.
So that's really all there is to it. But I can send you some, free videos, YouTube videos, that kind of stuff
Sure.
that'll get you at least down the road with somebody that has been there, done that, 1,000 times, and then just make your own mind up as to how you want to proceed.
Hang, hang on a second. What's that? No, adjust the controls. Two. Well, yeah, to start. Sorry about that, Sean.
No worries.
Okay. So, all right. I mean, I do want to see your videos, and I get what you're saying. Like, it's kind of learning the lingo. I'm pretty good at that. I'm pretty well diversified. Like, I'm about ready to test for my C20 and my C10. I've been in construction for a super long time, and I'm kind of still trying to figure out what my lane is, and what kind of work I could facilitate.
Well, I can
But
tell you 100% that you're more qualified than I am, and I've done, all that $1 billion worth of work. And what I mean by that is, let's play a fun little game. Have you ever heard of a SAM registration?
so that's what I'm looking at. Yeah, I know what that is. I understand you help with the process.
No, no, I'm just asking if you know what that is, SAM registration. You get
They
registered with the federal government.
Yeah, basically, is that just kind of the way you propose contracts to the government? Is their structured form or something along the lines?
Well, you have to be registered with the federal government in order to get a federal contract. They need to know who you
Yeah.
are, what your company name is, your tax identification number. It's just a registration. It's not a license. It's just a
Okay.
registration. Okay. The reason I'm asking is because you and I are going to play a little game. It's going to take just 2 minutes, but it's going to make a light bulb go off in your head.
Okay.
So
I
I'm
like
gonna
it.
I'm gonna give you the answer to the question before I ask you the question. Are you ready for the answer?
Sure. Yes.
The answer is SAM registration. Ready to play?
Yep.
There's one thing and one thing only required to be a federal contractor, and that is a.
SAM registration.
So if you sell cake mix to the Navy so they can make cakes on ships, what do you need?
SAM registration.
If you sell bullets or aircraft parts or even construction goods and services, what do you need?
SAM registration.
Okay, now we're going to play the other part of the game, which is I'm going to give you 3 scenarios, but before I give you the scenarios, I need to know what state you're in.
Mm-hmm.
What?
California.
California. Okay. And then I also need to know that if you and I walked through a neighborhood and I pointed up in the sky on a pole and said that's a transformer, would you know what that looked like?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the 3 scenarios. Scenario number 1. The transformer shall be replaced by a licensed electrician in the state of California. Now, that has nothing to do with the company that got the job. All they needed was a SAM registration. But the actual work, the replacement of the transformer, has to be done by a licensed electrician in the state of California. So if you got that job, all you would be responsible for is finding that guy and having him replace the transformer.
Okay? So I could subcontract it to someone who's not SAM certified?
Correct.
Okay.
Scenario number 2. The transformer shall be replaced by a licensed electrician. Well, now any licensed electrician from any state can go into California and replace that transformer. Understand that this is federal eminent domain property. There's no such thing as a state inspector going onto a federal job. Again, this has nothing to do with the company that got the job. All the company needed was a SAM registration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Scenario number 3. The transformer shall be replaced. Now that literally means that you and I can go out there on a Saturday and replace the transformer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's how I can tell you that you going after your C20 makes you significantly more qualified than me because, again, we've done $1 billion worth of work for the federal government. I've never had a license of any kind other than a driver's license.
So you're facilitating kind of a general, basically.
That's right. All I'm doing is putting the deal together.
Putting the deal. Gotcha. Okay. I understand. Well, I guess that makes me feel a little more confident because I do have a lot of, boots on the ground experience and multifaceted trades and lots of years of actually doing the work. So that makes me kind of a little more aware of what's happening and what needs to be done and how to communicate. And it's just a matter of facilitating.
That's right. It's just a matter of learning the processes, and if you want to go it alone, GCExperts didn't exist when I was your age. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
GCExperts only exists to accelerate that whole process.
Okay, so let me ask you. Basically, we get into this. There's some schooling and some lingo. You probably help with the SAM registration, and at that point, is there like you probably help point me in the right direction? Like if there is an actual list of local government contract work.
It's literally hand-holding, and yes, I invented that quote list. It's called BidTracker, BidTrakker, BidTracker.com. And we invested $250,000 creating that.
So if you were to look up, let's say, California, Ventura County, or Los Angeles, I mean, is there sufficient work, or is this more of a travel type scenario? I mean, I guess if the job is right,
travel.
that's considerable.
Look, I teach you how to get the work for the entire federal government, all the agencies, National Park Service, National Forest Service, Bureau of Land Management, Bureau of Indian Affairs, Coast Guard, Army, Navy, Space Force, federal courthouses, USDA, EPA. There's a million buildings out there, Okay.
So are you cold calling them, or do they have like a registry list of jobs?
There's a list of jobs. That's the BidTracker that I put together.
The BidTracker. Oh, gotcha. Do you know anything about getting like higher levels of clearance? So like, I really would like to be on like,
But you're
if I could
only
do stuff
saying that because either somebody told you that or you looked into a Google search or something and went, I can do
I
that. I have never had a clearance of any kind.
I have a buddy who's kind of involved. He does at the Navy base. They do basically all their in-house installs, just about for all general purposes. And it does require certain levels of secrecy to be, let's say, in a hangar or certain things. But what that does is jumps your pay rate up at each level that you can be higher classified. And there's such more limited amount of work.
Okay,
I guess
Cade, let me clarify this for you. Again, you're talking to a guy that's 30 years in this business, over 30 years, probably almost 35 now. Um, if you had to guess, you have an air conditioner at your place?
Yes.
Okay. If you had to guess how much to replace that air conditioner, how much would you guess?
My house?
Yep.
Oh, for a 4-ton or 5-ton?
Yep.
Yeah. Today's going rate, I mean, it used to be done at around 8 or 9 grand, but probably now 14.
Okay, no
16.
problem. All right. Now, would you agree that if you go out tomorrow and you get a $50,000 construction contract down the road somewhere, and you take that contract back and put it to your home and you put it in your filing cabinet, can anybody down the street walk into your home, open up your filing cabinet, and go, holy shit, Cade, you got a $50,000 contract?
No.
No, they can't because that's private information. Okay?
Yes.
But every federal contract I ever got in my career, all 1,000 of them, would you agree that that is public information?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I'll just tell you that we the people get to see how our federal government spends money. And every
Okay.
contract allocation is public information. You can go to usaspending.gov and you can look it up.
Mhm.
Okay, now based on that, if you believe me, okay, do you think I would ever lie about any federal contract I ever got?
No.
No,
I don't.
because somebody could look that up. You might be the guy, Cade. You might be the guy to sit down and go look all that shit up just specifically to be able to call me a liar. And I would encourage you to do that if that's what you want to do. But now, based on all that, the last 3-ton air conditioner I sold to the federal government, I sold it to them for $107,000.
Good God Almighty.
Now, do you
Okay.
want to see proof of that or do you just want to believe me?
I mean, I've kind of followed you and seen your stuff, for some time. I want to believe you.
Okay.
I don't.
Then just believe me and just know that I can point you on the web right now where you can go look that up and see for yourself. Okay. Now, that job was in Alaska. Do you think I got on an airplane from Austin, Texas, went to Alaska to install a 3-ton air conditioner?
I don't think you'd want to do that, but
I wouldn't even know how to do that. But what I did was I called a local HVAC guy and negotiated the deal for him to go install it. And guess what he charged me?
pennies on the dollar, probably
$15,000.
10-60. Yeah,
$15,000. Okay.
and he was probably pretty happy with that.
That's right. And I didn't care whether he charged me 7, 15, or even 30. Okay. So, when you start saying, hey, my buddy said, and they're making more money, you got to understand people's perspective of money is different. Okay. And you don't get that perspective when you're young because all you can see is the dollars. If I work harder, I can make $15 an hour. Or maybe someday I can make $25 an hour. Or maybe someday I can make $50 an hour. But there's some people in this world who are making $40,000 an hour. They're just not telling you. Okay? It's because people's perspective on money is different.
Right. Wow. Yeah. I see. So, I mean, what you're saying, like, I get that thinking outside the box and not just working within your county or your zone, you could try
Yes,
to
I can teach
tactically
you how to get a
facilitate.
local federal contract. I'm just telling you that's not where the real money is. It might seem like real money to you,
Yeah.
but I'm telling you there's a much larger picture, a much larger pie out there that I'm the kind of guy that teaches people to go after that.
Okay.
Let the local people with their local mindsets, continue to compete all the way to the bottom in your local area. That's fine. I got no problem with that. The world needs trash collectors. I got no problem with people going out there and making an honest living thinking, "Hey, I got that guy for $25 an hour," or "I got that guy for 50." I've had people think they're taking me when they're making $1,000 an hour. They have no idea I'm making $10,000 an hour on top of their 1,000.
Right. Right. Interesting. I just that's kind of the thing where I've always feel a little awkward about facilitating work when I'm out of sight. Not on site, I'd say. And Jesus, really trusting and locating and finding the right person to competently do the job, and you're liable.
That's right.
And
And I teach all
try to.
that in great detail. That's why my training isn't just 3 hours, it's 3 full days of training. It's almost 28 hours of training. Okay? You can't teach somebody to do this in 3 hours.
Uh-huh. So you're basically training how to do this type of like kind of not work that isn't being done local. The strategies, the tactics, the billing, the presentation, the searching.
I teach
That's
every single part of it: how to find the work, how to bid the work, how to negotiate the work, and how to get it performed anywhere, anytime, as long as there's federal money involved.
okay. I see. Once you get up and going, I'm sure it's all in your courses, but yeah, I mean, just you're working with a valid license and
No license.
no license.
No license.
Wow. Well, okay. Very interesting.
Like I said, let me send you over a couple of videos. Just watch the
Sure,
videos
I
because
will.
they're very comprehensive. As you can tell in this phone conversation with me, I don't bullshit anybody. I'm not wasting anybody's time. And you'll figure that out the more you watch of me. And this is my personal cell phone number. You can just pick up the phone and call me anytime.
You hold my hand through the adventure. If there's questions, trouble, or whatever, just needing advice, you have the answer.
I have people that send me messages like what you sent me. The latest one happened, I want to say 3 or 4 days ago. The guy sends me a message. Uh, I think it might have even been Friday night. It was 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, and I noticed that the area code was a Florida number, so I knew it was late. And the guy said, "Hey, I'm at a crossroads in life, and I feel like I need to talk to you." And I just picked up the phone and cold called the guy at 10 o'clock at night. And we talked for about 45 minutes. And I told him in the conversation, I said, I don't know, like, I know the mindset of a contractor. I've been in construction my entire life. And as a construction guy, we don't reach out to talk to people unless there's something preventing us from moving forward. That we'd either have a question or there's a procedural thing or a problem. And I've had many sleepless nights worrying about things. And the problem with construction is that you can't pick up the phone and call your best friend and talk about problems related to the construction industry because they don't have perspective. They're in some other business or some other, they don't, they can be your friend and they can listen, but they can't offer you perspective and real answers to your real problems. And I've just always made myself available to people because I understand that mindset, and you can only get that from somebody else who's been there, done that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I make myself so available.
Awesome. Well, that's nice. Would you say, I mean, if I wanted to do not, yeah, I mean, a part of this is outside sales, other, contracts, other states, other contractors, but how much in-house? I mean, I could do both. Why wouldn't I be able to? And if I can do in-house projects nearby, I mean, I guess there just wouldn't be as many
There's
if I
nothing
wanted
wrong
to.
with that. If that's the way you want to move forward, look, some people call me and they say, "No, I'm not interested in the stuff in other states. I've got 20 people on my crew and I want to keep them busy." Hey, if that's what your mission in life is, then
Uh-huh.
I got no problem with that.
Huh. Okay. Well, yeah, man, I'm interested in all this. I'm curious to see what doors it can open, what direction I can go. I'm optimistic. I'm willing to learn. I'm pretty absorbent, information and knowledge and the know-how. I'd like to see your videos, and I'm sort of wanting to transition into something like this. So
Hey,
I just
I'll
kind of want
text it
to
over
learn
to
more.
you when we get off the phone. I'll text it over to you. Take your time. I don't care if you watch it today, tomorrow, next week, next year, 5 years from now. Just at
Uh,
some point, sit down and watch that stuff. And then if you want to talk more about it, just pick up the phone and call me. You don't even need to text or anything. Just call me.
yeah. Gotcha. So your 3-day course, this is going to be like a Zoom thing or a.
I talk about it at the end of the video I'm about to send you. It'll explain
Okay.
how the whole thing works.
Cool. All right. We'll look forward to it. Thank you for calling me, Sean. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
You're fast on that.
did I pronounce your name correctly?
It's Cade. I
Cade.
think you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's one thing. It's not hard to get a hold of me.
Awesome. So do you happen to know anything about getting like higher level clearances to do like a higher, like a little
The
more?
only clearances that I've ever had were like jobs where we were inside the Pentagon or in federal courthouses, and all that was just standard background checks. Now, look, I have a best friend of 35 years who went to the Naval Academy, went into the Marine Corps, was a supply officer for the Marine Corps, and he has a top secret security clearance. And we just went on a 3-day sailing thing with our other buddy maybe 2 weeks ago. And we were talking about what kind of federal contracts he gets into now that he's in the private sector. And forgive me if I'm saying this wrong, but I think they're called SEPR contracts. But basically, they're the guys that the Army comes over and says, "Hey, we want a pocket computer that can detect radiation and will GPS our troops around the radiation so that they can achieve their objective." Okay, and then he goes out and figures out how to do phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, put together of this special AI computer. And for that, he needs a security clearance, obviously, because no, we don't want other people to know what kind of little pocket computers we're putting together with AI. And
this is exactly what this is a friend of mine is doing right now. He's about to retire and he wants to kind of show me some ropes on this kind of IT side of it.
I'll tell you a funny story. My best buddy, we're on this sailing trip, we're drinking and having fun. And I said, "Man, you must have seen some shit with that security clearance." And he said, "Turn your phone off." And I turned my phone off. And he says, "So let me describe to you what I saw." And then he's described to me a scene from a movie and then made fun of me at the end of it. Like he really had me hook, line, and sinker. Turn your fucking phone off. So I'll just say that the guys that really know, they're really good at making sure you don't know. Um, but uh, but yeah, can there be some money in that? Of course there can. In my mind, for your average everyday construction contractor, to me, I wouldn't spend any more than 5 minutes looking into what your pal's talking about. There's other ways to make a lot more money, grow a lot bigger businesses, and I've got miles of proof. In other words, I was talking to you earlier about proof, right? In federal contracts, everything is public information. So not only are my contracts public information, but everybody who's joined my program and gone out there and started getting federal contracts, their contracts are public information. So I can actually prove beyond any reasonable doubt, and in fact, I call it my indisputable proof page. If you go to my website, GCExperts.com, I have a link there that says indisputable proof our stuff works. It's videos of people that are saying, "Oh my God, Sean Reitmeyer is the greatest thing that ever happened in federal." But underneath there is a link to their public profile. Okay, and on their public profile, you can see the hundreds of millions of dollars in federal contracts they've gotten. So, you know, these are just everyday construction contractors, no different than you, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that have gone through the program and started getting federal contracts.
So how does, once you engage on this, how are you awarded the job if there's, let's say, 100 other people going after it?
There's
Is it,
not
or
100 other people. What made you think there's 100 other people going after it?
the world's a big place? I'm just speculating.
Okay, well, that's an incorrect speculation. So I can actually tell you the number. Again, all of this is public information. You can go Google this shit and figure it out for yourself. Of the million companies, entities that are registered with sam.gov, only 25,000 of them are construction contractors. Okay?
Wow.
So 25,000 registered federal contractors. Now, let's say that you're smarter than the average bear and you go, okay, I want to be registered with the federal government. So you go get SAM registered. Well, now you're 25,001 registered federal contractors. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Of the 25,000, how many are actually getting federal contracts if you had to guess?
Less than half.
It's way less than half. It's about 3,000 of the 25,000.
Wow.
Because those are the only guys that really know what they're doing and how to get them.
Mm-hmm.
So, in your mind, can 3,000 companies do $1 billion worth of work per day?
No, not even.
Not even close.
Not even close. Interesting. So you're looking at a public list of pre-bid jobs that the government needs to do, and you put yourself up in front of it, and do they just pick from a lottery, or is
No,
it
I don't
background
think that,
check?
but in the video I'm about to send you, I explained that whole process for free.
Gotcha.
For your enjoyment.
And these contracts, they're already bid, so you can't come in and say, hey, it's wrong, or you look at it and you're like, yeah, that's plenty.
They're not already bid. They're put. In other words, in the example in the video that I'm going to send you, I use an example of a 200 square foot tiny house. The National Park Service wants to build a 200 square foot tiny house, so you just come along and bid it.
Okay.
How much would you bid for a 200 square foot tiny house?
Jeez, I would have to put some. I'd have to pencil that out. It just kind of depends. 200 square foot, let's see, Jesus, call it today's probably 400.
Let me ask you this. If I told you there was no risk to any number that you chose, now what number would you pick?
Yeah, I would go to the limit of what I thought was more than reasonable.
So what do you think is the limit of reasonable for a 200 square? I'm asking your opinion. Opinions don't matter. I'm not going to kick you in the teeth.
I'd probably be 200 grand. I mean,
okay, 200 grand for a 200 square foot tiny house. And there's no risk associated with your bid. Okay? In the video, I'll show you the number that I came up with.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, I need to probably study your videos and answer. Sounds like a lot of you being redundant on re-answering questions.
Well, no, it's not that I'm opposed to answering your question. It's just that I'm not going to go into the detail that I go into in that video.
Sure, I totally understood. I'm kind of pre-assuming that. Okie dokie. Sheesh. Well, I'm kind of out of questions. You've answered most everything, and I'm looking next to your videos for more.
Yeah, I'll text it to you within the next couple of minutes.
Fantastic. Alrighty. Anything else?
No, have a good one, Cade. Nice to meet you.
Right on, Sean. Thank you for your time.
You bet. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.